I joined this company 5 years ago, right after graduating from university. I have changed several positions, from courier to archive hostess, as it is called in our country. The archive is in the basement of the office, a well-lit, dry, warm place with a strong, rich smell of papers. The work is good, but boring. During the workday, no one happens to look in here except for occasional visits from my mom, who works in the planning department. Realizing that I would not get out of this basement without some action, despite my economics degree, I knew I had to do something. When my mom came to visit me in the basement and told me that Margaret Smith was vacating her position in the planning department to move up to the position of chief accountant, I knew I had to act. I approached Margaret first. She had no objection to my wanting to take her place. All that remained was the decision of the director. This was a big, impenetrable wall for me, as I had no contact with him during my time at the company. He wasn't interested in the messengers or those who sat in the basement. Only the people upstairs, who constantly flashed before his eyes, had a chance of getting a place. There was nothing my mother could do either, except tell me during her visits to the archives that I had to act by any means necessary. Yes, he is stern, even formidable in appearance, but he is still a man, and he has weaknesses like all men, she said. I asked her, what weaknesses? Does he like whiskey? Women, dear, she replied. Mother, what are you suggesting? I asked, surprised by her words. No, I'm not suggesting anything, she said. I'm just saying that you have a choice. Sit here until you retire, or move out into the world, closer to people. And there are only a few things you'll have to do. You think the other girls got their seats for nothing? No, it's all because of the boss's weakness. What about my husband, Tom? What about him? We won't say anything to our son-in-law. Why would he know about it? Mom, the boss must be about 60 years old. He's like a grandfather to me. Not 60, but 50, and this grandfather, let me tell you, is still in good shape. I checked recently. Well, if that's the case, I'll take it. Good, Mom said, and went upstairs to make arrangements for me. Toward the end of the workday, Sally's secretary called me and told me to come to the principal's office. In the reception area, Sally informed the principal of my arrival. Smiling, she nodded her head toward the door, indicating for me to come in. The principal immediately asked, "Are you the one who wants to take Margaret Smith's place?" I replied that I would very much like to work there. And they explained everything to you, all the intricacies of the job, and most importantly, what you need to do to get it. Yes, I am aware of everything. Then, my dear, there's no point in idle chatter, he said, pointing to the leather sofa next to him. The director, after shouting over the intercom to the secretary that he was busy, came over to me and said, "Now, let's not drag this out. I'll see what you can do and decide if you're worthy of the position or not." He smiled crookedly and sat down next to me. After about 20 minutes of our heated discussion about the job, he seemed to like me, and I deserved the position. As I walked out of the office, I glanced at the receptionist, Sally. She was pretending to be busy, covering her face with a piece of paper. Walking out of the office, I got in the car with my husband. "Were you carrying heavy weights in there?" "Why are you so tired?" asked Tom, looking at me. "Yeah, I had to move papers in the archives for delivery because I was transferred to a department and the archives needed to be turned in, so I was carrying," I replied. Feeling that I urgently needed a shower, I hurried Tom on his way home. That's how I left the archive. But I also realized that if you try hard enough, you can get an even more lucrative position. My husband didn't find out how I got this position. I am a little ashamed, of course, and when we lie in bed, it's hard for me to remember how I got this position at work.